spent a lifetime creating this moment, and you try to take it away from me. I will take what is due. My desires will be fulfilled! Rose is mine!
What the fuck?
So the Resident Evil franchise has definitely given us many antagonists throughout the years, some more iconic and memorable compared to the others. But this time around in Resident Evil Village, we face an antagonist who literally stood the test of time, being a figure that manipulated the events in the background and would be one of the most important characters in this franchise. Because at this moment, this villain definitely makes a case as one of the better developed boss figures in Resident Evil, mixing a combination of impactful origins and many new abilities, which in my book makes her an amazing antagonist. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and explain the story of Mother Miranda.
Fuck you, you crazy bitch!
Where we cover her origins stemming more than 100 years prior to the events in Resident Evil Village, her discovery and experimentation of the megamycete leading to the creation of the mold strain, her rise to power in the village, and her influence with the four lords of the region, including House Dimitrescu, House Beneviento, House Moreau, and House Heisenberg, to all the way to the present day, and how she had a hand in the creation of not just a mold strain, but also having a massive influence in the creation of the Umbrella Corporation and the causation to the many catastrophes in the world.
Where's Rose? Miranda.
So in the beginning, Mother Miranda was already present sometime in the late 1800s, who then had a daughter by the name of Ava in 1909. But through a very tragic timeline, the 1918 influenza pandemic, or better known as the Spanish flu, swept through the world, infecting about 1/3 of the world's population, with a casualty roughly around 50 million. Which unfortunately for Mother Miranda, her daughter Ava was one of those infected with the Spanish flu, eventually losing her life in 1919 at just 10 years old. This tragic event caused Mother Miranda to be grief-stricken, and through her depression wandered to a nearby cave by the village to die. But through some miraculous luck, she stumbled upon the megamycete by complete accident, which was a colony of a type of fungal disease that acted in a hive mind kind of way.
Alpha to squad. I've located the megamycete.
So now we can end this mess after all.
Because when Mother Miranda touched the dark substance, as she puts it, was overcome by knowledge, granting her intelligence that would help propagate her plans for the next century. The explanation for this was a megamycete hive mind's characteristic can be stemmed from the theory of cells retaining memories, in which in this case in Resident Evil Village, this allowed the megamycete to break down and absorb the consciousness of those that perished, a lot of the residents that lived within that region and the proximate area.
Tomorrow we'll all be dead.
Which Mother Miranda concluded that if this was the case, then the megamycete would have Ava's consciousness as well, allowing the possibility of recreating Ava from this fact. But Mother Miranda would need a viable host in order to do so, which Mother Miranda timed it perfectly with the villagers, because following the events of the discovery of the megamycete and the death of her daughter, she would experiment on this new substance to figure out the next step to find the viable host for her diseased daughter, and the villagers would be the perfect proving grounds to see the result of her work, though she went about this in a very cunning and manipulative way, because at this time, the village was plagued by a disease that was taking people's lives. Then Mother Miranda used this event to come in as a savior, giving the villagers a supposed cure for the illness that was spreading, which at first appeared to work in the favor of the villagers, but that would quickly turn around sometime later, because we learn eventually that those infected with the megamycete mold would turn into lichen-like creatures. This proved that the experiment using the megamycete as a catalyst still needed some work, or possibly another avenue of infection. This of course would lead Mother Miranda to create something that she would call the Cadeau parasite, also meaning gift in the Romanian language.
What the fuck is this?
And this gift that she gave to the population around the village as well, with only a handful able to assimilate to a certain degree, and granting those who did adapt to the Cadeau would gain some type of superhuman-like abilities or powers, hence resulting in the abilities that we saw with Alcina Dimitrescu and her larger-than-life height, her regenerative abilities, and her retractable claws.
Ah, shit!
like I'd let you get away. You'll be sliced to ribbons.
To Karl Heisenberg and his mutated electric organs, granting him powers of magnetism and control of metals.
Lady, supersized bitch. Ugly ass psycho doll. An embryonic freak.
To Salvatore Moreau and his barely adaptation to the Cadeau, mutating him into a grotesque monster with fish-like organs and abilities.
The fuck is wrong with you?
And finally to Donna Beneviento and her ability to secrete a substance that controls plants infected with the megamycete, with the pollen from these flowers resulting in many hallucinatory effects.
Don't leave. I can't let you.
You're still alive,
Also, on a quick side note, the fact that each of the 4 members are the lords of the respective houses had nothing to do with the assimilation process of the Cadeau, which they had just as much of a chance of being a complete failure of an experiment like many others. Anyways, moving towards the middle of the 20th century, she would encounter a medical student who would stay in the village for a certain amount of time. This would create a bond between Mother Miranda and this individual, seeing her as a mentor or a teacher of sorts, being fascinated with Mother Miranda's plan of using the megamycete to revive her deceased daughter, leaving a lasting impression on this individual that some many years later, he and a group of colleagues and friends would create a company that would devastate the world for many years, which this individual would be none other than Oswell E. Spencer, one of the co-founders of the Umbrella Corporation.
The fuck is this?
Which the inspiration for the logo of this company stems from the design that he saw from the caves nearby the village. And of course, with hindsight being 2020, the creation of the Umbrella Corporation would devastate the entire world due to all the viruses and strains that it produced, creating monsters that were unbelievably powerful and horrendous. It's amazing that Mother Miranda would help plant that seed within Oswell E. Spencer's mind, that using an infection or another organism to propagate the human race into the eugenics world utopia that he envisioned, while giving praise to his immortal-like mentor, though insinuating that her view of reviving only one person using the megamycete may not be aligned with his views, with a file that we discover stating, "Dear Miranda, my deepest apologies for not meeting you in person. I would love nothing more than to visit your quaint village once more. However, I am incredibly busy. Then again, I suppose for an immortal woman such as yourself, you no longer remember this poor, half-dead medical student in the snow. I have always cherished the revelation I came to 15 years ago when I stayed in your village. I was inspired by your research to think one could transform a human by infecting them with an organism. Positively visionary. I knew that with that knowledge, I could achieve my own vision for the next step in the human evolution. Even after 2 world wars and the humanity on the cusp of another, my convictions never wavered. I realized, however, through the many nights of intellectual talks you and I shared, that your conviction differed from mine. You hoped to bring back a single dead person, while I aimed to change the world. Your experiments on the mold would not have aided me in my endeavor to achieve an exponential infection. I thought a virus would be more effective. This is why, my dear, I had to leave you. I still regret never telling you goodbye. My apologies for reminiscing. I actually have news that I thought might please you. I found the key to evolution, the progenitor, a virus found in Africa. I plan to start a company with friends and colleagues dedicated to virus research. I will call it Umbrella, just like the symbol in the caves that we spoke about. I am one step closer to making my vision a reality. I hope you'll be able to achieve your goals someday too. You taught me so much, and for that, I'll be forever in your debt. Sincerely, your lifelong student, Oswell E. Spencer. Anyways, while his plans were to use a different path of infection, hence the progenitor virus, which he deemed would be a better way of attaining the eugenics plan of evolution due to the easier spread of the strain, so as we see, Mother Miranda's actions of using the megamycete to revive her daughter so far has a profound effect in the future history of the events in this franchise, because without her, Oswell E. Spencer may not have created the Umbrella Corporation, which in turn would have avoided all the world catastrophes that we had to face during the Resident Evil Evil timeline, but in the end, this would still not be the last impactful thing that Mother Miranda would achieve because of her continued research into the megamycete, reaching to the early part of the 21st century, which at this point she still retained her youth due to the strain that she found almost 100 years ago, and more important, the fact that she would be approached by a mysterious organization called the Connections, stating that they would assist her in the research of the mold from the megamycete, which Mother Miranda gave them a sample of the mold and part of her deceased daughter's DNA. But as we know, this organization would be the catalyst in creating the mold strain that we see in Resident Evil 7, with the Connections creating a series of experiments that eventually made a variant of the mold strain of the megamycete, with the most successful of these experiments would be the creation of the E-type series, better known as Evelyn.
It fucking hurts!
He doesn't want to be my daddy? Then he can die.
A bioweapon who the Connections created with the help of Mother Miranda that was possible by implementing this new strain of the mold into an early stage embryo, allowing the assimilation between the two organisms, resulting into a childlike human, but powers granted with the mold, which would cause an easy spread of the strain, the mind control aspect abilities, and the control of the mold surrounding the area. Also, using Evelyn's appearance of a 10-year-old would be the perfect infiltration behind enemy lines, using her powers of the mold, with the only drawback was a rapid aging process of Evelyn's body. Also, on a quick side note, all this information would be found in Mother Miranda's lab, even showing pictures of her alongside Evelyn, the scientists of the Connections, and even Mia Winters, because all this experimentation of creating Evelyn would be the final phase prior to the events in Resident Evil Village, because in Resident Evil 7, the story would have Evelyn infecting many individuals with the mold strain, with the prominent members of these would be the Baker family, Mia Winters, and Ethan Winters. But as we know, Ethan would survive the events in RE7, saving Mia and giving her a serum to help with the symptoms from the mold strain, and defeating the infected Baker family members, leading Mia and Ethan to settle back in normalcy, eventually having a daughter by the name of Rose Winters. Hence the start of Resident Evil Village, which we learned that prior to the events of the start of the game, Mia Winters would be kidnapped by Mother Miranda, and would then change her appearance looking like Mia in the process. This ability of Mother Miranda was very versatile, and was in full display in this scene, explaining her plans for Rose and the megamycete.
Mia?
Our child. She's so important, isn't she?
She's everything to me.
And mine to me. With Heisenberg gone, you've lost your lead. What are you going to do?
I don't know, but I'm saving Rose.
You'd never know, do you? Even when I took Mia's place in your home. Poor Ethan.
Who are you? Where's Rose? Miranda.
Enough. Remember Evelyn and her power over the mold? Rose is her successor. No. Rose is Evelyn's true, complete form. She will grow to fully control the masses. And I must have her.
Fuck you, you crazy bitch!
Calm yourself. Rose will be saved. The megamycete catalogs all of us. However, she will be reborn as my daughter.
She's my child, not yours. Where are you? Show yourself!
Why did Rose come to be? Was it because of her parents? And you are truly a special case. But I've learned all I can from you. Your worth as a lab rat has run out.
Miranda! You coward! Come out and face me!
Don't worry. Your death will come quick. You will join the megamycete's records. I will make sure to sample your blood for later. Once dawn breaks, the ceremony will be complete, and I will become her true mother, bound for eternity in blood. I've waited so long, but dreams really can come true. Vessel or not, I can't wait to see my true child again.
Anyways, covering this long history of Mother Miranda, it's amazing that she had her hands with the countless important events that propagated the many catastrophes in the Resident Evil franchise, showing her to be one of the most conniving, manipulative, and more intelligent adversaries that we had to face in the RE universe. Also the fact that she has lived so long, using the mold from the megamycete to prolong her life and gaining powers that one can only dream of. With important ones is her ability to shapeshift into anything that she desires, hence Mia Winters and the Old Hag. And even in her weakened state towards the end of the game, we have one of the better final boss monsters in Resident Evil.
I've spent a lifetime creating this moment, and you try to take it away from me. I will take what is due. My desires will be fulfilled! Rose is mine!
What the fuck?
With Mother Miranda showing a plethora of abilities, attacks, and transformations, which I found very impressive that she can switch from one form to the next and then switch back to her previous transformation at will, which is a stark contrast from what we've seen from the viruses infected monsters from the past RE games, with most mutating over and over, but would be unable to interchange the way she did on the fly, with the exception to this would be Derek Simmons of RE6. But in conclusion, Mother Miranda's grief over the loss of her daughter would be the catalyst to her character as a whole. Instead of letting go of Ava, she did the complete opposite and influencing many events in the background of this franchise. Anyways, what do you guys think about the overall story of Mother Miranda? And do you guys think that she was one of the better characters in the Resident Evil franchise? Please let me know in the comment section down below. Also, if you guys enjoy the content, then please feel free to like and subscribe. And if you guys also want to play Resident Evil Village, feel free to click on that link down below, where you guys can get this game on PC from Green Man Gaming for 15% off. They're a great source for many discounted games, and I personally buy from them as well. And again, this is Green Man Gaming. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and this is Hey DeVuH, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
My daughter! My Ava!
Fuck you, you crazy bitch!